Join the army.
Why would you do that?
Sometimes I feel like I've already seen everything that's gonna happen. And it's a nightmare.
So Emily seems to be so on track for good things in this movie until she isn't. How did you wrap your head around her decision to take Oxy and sort of like what that led to?
You know, I think it's important to remember the level of pain and fear that she was experiencing at that point in her life. I mean, her partner, her, soul connection in this movie and in the story and in her life is struggling so severely. And she's doing her best to love him out of that pain, but it's just causing her an equal amount of pain. This is a character who didn't have outside resources to turn to for help. She didn't know where to go. She was in a lot of pain. And I think it was obviously a mistake that altered her life for the worse and brought her to some really scary places.
Her double life was startling. Like she was teaching and she was shooting up.
Right.
Obviously not to this extent, but how are you at keeping sort of big life secrets?
How am I keeping big life secrets?
How are you are you good at it?
Oh, how am I?
Are you a secret keeper?
In a more healthy way. Yeah, I think so. For me, I like to imagine them more as boundaries. It's like, okay, it depends on where you're at and which situation. That's how I decide which parts of myself I reveal. And then of course you've got those people in your life, if you're lucky enough, where you can just be completely and totally yourself. But yeah, I like to remember that not everyone needs to know everything about you.
Well, it's so strange because on social media now too, it's like people seem to be sharing a lot of themselves, but they're not really sharing all of themselves. Do you know what I mean? Like you're sharing the highlights of your life.
Exactly.
It's a very weird time.
It is, and it's hard, to view only that version of people because it can be very disorienting.
Total switch. How did you research the actual sort of like doing heroin part of this role? Like you don't want to glamorize it, but you want to get it right. So I'm sort of wondering how you found the balance there.
Yeah, I went to a rehab facility, which was a huge help in understanding the more intimate details of what it's like to battle something like a heroin addiction. But then we were also lucky enough to have a drug consultant on set, Brian, who actually sat Tom and I both down in a trailer one day and just gave us a whole lesson. It was a schooling on what different drugs look like, how different people do different drugs, how to cook heroin, how to shoot up heroin, just so that we made sure we were showing it in an accurate light and making sure not to glamorize the experience at all. So he was really helpful in keeping us on track.
Last question. I am originally from Cleveland. I lived there for a lot of my young life. So this movie was thrilling for me in some respects. But I am legally required to ask then, what did you like about Cleveland?
This is a hard question to answer because I'm from Cincinnati.
Ooh, sorry.
Yeah. So as you know, there's that unwritten rivalry between Cincinnati and Cleveland, seeing as they're two of the very few relevant cities in Ohio. So I never thought I would have enjoyed Cleveland as much as I did. The food scene there is amazing. And of course, going back to Ohio and being around Midwestern people made my heart sparkle.
If I could save time in a bottle, the first thing.
Hey, I'm really happy you're here.
Why is that?
Because I like you.
But there never seems to